16, 2012, Mr. Herb Lux gave an argument before the State Supreme Court, Virginia. Please explain to us the crux of your arguments.
Pardon me?
Please explain to us the argument that you presented.
Well, that the order that was entered on March 3rd, 2011, it was done for the purposes of covering up some illegal actions of the Commonwealth Attorney William F. Neely. So between he and the judge, they entered an order that's outside the jurisdiction of the court. So what I argued today was that that order that was entered on that time at March 3rd, 2011 was entered one day after the jurisdiction ran out. The court has 21 days jurisdiction after the entry of the final order. In this case, they had written this order on the 22nd day, one day late.
Can you describe the nature of that order?
Well, what it did, it asked to have any juror list turned back into the court. The fact of the matter is, we didn't raise a lot of arguments that could have been presented because, quite frankly, a defendant is entitled to the jury list. And another thing, it has to do, the code section that is referred to in the order has to do with a criminal trial already in process. In this instance, the court was it was already done. The jury trial had been commenced and completed on January 31st, 2011, and this order was entered March 3rd, as I said, 2011. So therefore didn't have jurisdiction, and it was not a criminal trial in place. So they had no business entering the order. I also asked for sanctions against the Commonwealth Attorney for filing the order and filing fraudulent documents fraudulently with the Court of Appeals, stating they were part of the original record when some of the documents are dated more than 2 months after the fact. So it's impossible that they could have been a part of the original record.
What would the sanction actually accomplish?
Well, hopefully that he would never do something like this again. In fact, as I mentioned to the court, criminal charges should be brought against the attorney because he has willfully violated my constitutional rights, intentionally.
How do you feel it went over as far as the justices are concerned? I know it's hard for you to comment.
Well, I think, quite honestly, it was pretty straightforward. The jurisdiction of the court, the rules state is 21 days. Their case law that I presented states having to do with the finality of judgments. It's 21 days no longer after the entry of the final order. Clearly, the evidence was put on. The petition for appeal contains that, all the supporting documents and cases. So, quite frankly, it should be a slam dunk. It should be a very easy case for the court to rule on.
Where do you go from here?
Well, hopefully, I'll wait to have this verdict come back in, and that'll be a start of landslide against Mr. Neely in the corruption that's taken place in Spotsylvania County.
Well, good work. We certainly appreciate you, Mr. Lux.
Thank you.